Welcome, welcome. Bonjour, hi. I'm very happy to have you with us. My name is Joanne Dorsey, and I am the Director of Communication at Origine Village. Today is our third learn-up of the spring semester. Thanks again for being with us today. Our learn-up is an online training program created to help Black entrepreneurs deepen their capabilities towards the digital transformation of their business. So if you're here for that, thank you for being here. Before we start our meeting, I just want to go over a few rules to make sure that our webinar goes smoothly. So mute your microphone during the training, and if you are not speaking during the question period, use the chat function to ask question at any moment during the workshop. We want to keep it as interactive as possible, so don't be shy. Ask your question away. Keep your cameras open whenever possible, so that we get to see your faces. And finally, please note that the session today is recorded. We will send you the information in regards to the replay a little later today. So for those who are unfamiliar with our organization, Origine is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the economic development of Afro-descendant people to strengthen our economy, financial and social role through technology and new models of wealth acquisition. We are pro-generational wealth. We also want to encourage people in our communities to invest in their economic wealth by buying and consuming from Black-owned businesses through our hashtag Buy Black movement. In order to achieve this, we've put together the UP ecosystem, which is a range of initiatives such as networking events, personalized coaching, mobile applications, and of course, webinars similar to what we're having today. As mentioned earlier, the learnUP program is an online training. With this initiative, our goal is to provide specialized training from Black professionals and Black experts to enable business owners to take advantage of the best of digital marketing, social marketing, and digital advertising inside and outside of our ecosystem. And now the main event, I'd like to introduce to you the expert for today's workshop, Issa Sissoko, who is a digital marketing consultant and has a deep experience with digital agencies.
That's right.
Hi,
Can I take over?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Issa Sissoko. I'm very glad to be here today. It's not very pretty outside, so you have nothing else to do but to be in this webinar with me. Hopefully you'll learn some things that you don't know yet, and that will help you either develop your personal brand or your business. So we can start by I'll just introduce myself. I have about, I would say, 10 years old. Well, some people say I look like Damson Idris, that's why I put this, but hold on, I made a mistake. Hold on, let me there you go, that's me. I look better anyways. I have about 10 years of experience in digital marketing, and I would say around 7 years in Facebook ads and everything having to do with social ads in general. So that's, you have Snapchat, you have LinkedIn, you have Facebook, you have Google, all those. I have about 7 years of experience in that. why you guys want to learn about ads today is probably because, well, you've experienced that, you know, you were planning on, let's say, going on vacation one day, and you started looking up some things with your friend, maybe highlighting and pinning some things on Pinterest, and all of a sudden you go on Instagram and you start getting ads for, like, let's say, hotel deals, car rentals, like trips, you know, all those things just popping up without you actually searching them on Facebook or Instagram, right? Well, that's the power of ads in general, right? Um, and there are people like me behind these targeted ads. It just doesn't happen like by magic, or as people like to say. There are actual people like me behind that are kind of programming these things, that are choosing the creatives in which to target a specific person. Let's say if they know that you're more of a car person, they'll show you an ad with maybe a car in display for rentals instead of, let's say, you being, let's say, a more of a hotel theme that wants to get the best viewing in a hotel, right? So depending on what kind of person you are, what your interests are, you receive a targeted ad with a creative that's adapted to your interest. And that's a bit of what we're gonna like discuss and see how it's done in the back end. So let me just find presentation. Let's move forward. So today's workshop, we're mostly going to talk about the targeting and the audience segmentation. Some maybe give you some ad and creative best practices, some campaign optimization as well, and maybe a few, advanced strategies and future trends, depending on the level of expertise in this group. In the chat, I'd like you to just give me an idea of your level of expertise. We can say one is beginner, like I have no knowledge about ads whatsoever. Two, you probably maybe try to boost, one of your posts on Instagram, or you've tried but you've had no luck. And three, you do have some, knowledge, but you'd like to, let's say, get a few more tips in order to optimize your ads a bit more. So in the chat, if you can give me 1, 2, or 3 to kind of give me an indication on your level. So right now I'm seeing a lot of ones. 1, 2, okay. All right. All right. Okay, so one person has 3. Okay, cool. So we'll start from the beginning, hey? We'll do a quick introduction in terms of, can you even see my, oh, I'm not sharing it, hold on.
Yes, you need to share your screen. Thank you.
I thought I was already sharing. Let me go back. Start this one over. So you guys didn't even get my dance imagery joke. Oh man, hold on, let me start over. You guys got to see this. All right, so this is the presentation. I took some time to make it. It's really nice. I hope you appreciate it. So I was saying, I look like Damson Idris. I don't care if people don't think so. That's what I think. Okay. So this is the picture that I put up at first, but obviously, I look better than him, so I'm gonna put up mine. So this is my QR code. If ever you want to follow me on all social medias or whatever, this is a QR code. You can screenshot it, or you can take a picture of it with your phone right now, and so that we can move on. So as I was saying, we're going to go through first an introduction, and then we're going to go through some targeting and audience segmentation, some ad and creative best practices, campaign optimization and measurements, and then some advanced strategies and maybe some fun trends. We'll try to see what can be done, and then we'll move on to Q&As. Okay, so introduction, in terms of what I was saying earlier, this little story I was telling is that's probably our first experience in ads in general for all of us, experts or not. We first witnessed the power of ads through our own experiences when we're scrolling. Now, in this webinar, we're trying to kind of be the person in the back end and do those ads ourselves. So we have some people, maybe they're well, in the chat, give me an idea. Are you guys some, let's say, business owners? Are you working to try to develop your own personal branding? Do you just want to pick up a skill, a new skill that you can use for freelancing? What's the consensus here? Okay, so I'm seeing some business owners. That's cool. So that's mostly business. Okay, so we'll move forward with some business owners. So, okay. Just to give you guys an idea, I've been working in agencies and with clients for about 7 years now. So I've seen all kinds of budgets. Like I've seen people, I've seen companies, I work with companies like Canadian Tire, Sport Experts, Sport Check, BRP. Those are clients that have, let's say, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in budget per year to spend on ads. There's a reason why they're doing this. It's not just to throw money in the air. It's because it's super effective. But I've also worked with small businesses, right? So mostly people like you and I who don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest into this. So I've worked with people who just have a budget of, let's say, a monthly budget of $100, as low as that. You know, ads are for everyone. And depending on the optimization and the objectives that you want, you can make $100 work and maybe bring you back 1,000 or even 10,000. Depends on the product or the service you're selling. So let me just move forward. So yeah, so like I said, advertising on Facebook and Instagram, there are some benefits like a vast user base, for example, meaning that there's all kinds of people on like scrolling on Instagram and Facebook at all times, all kinds of ages. Obviously on Instagram, let's say there's a younger demographic, similar to what's on TikTok. But Facebook is more of a, like, let's say, an older demographic. It used to be the it platform, but now it's more for, let's say, I'm not going to say senior citizens because I sometimes still go on Facebook, but let's say if you want to target an older audience for like life insurance and stuff like that, well, I would suggest maybe Facebook, for example. So those are the things to kind of take into consideration when you're targeting and when you're doing ads. Is like you gotta kind of look at the platform and say, hey, does my ideal audience spend time on this platform, or are they on another platform? Those are some of the things that you have to start thinking about from the bat right away. So yeah, so like I was saying, back in the days, Facebook and Instagram, it used to be something free, right? In terms of consumption. If you're a consumer and you're not trying to sell any of your business or anything like that, well, it's still free for you, right? You're the consumer, you're just like spending all your time. It's not free, actually. You're spending most of your time there. So what you're spending is your time. But for business owners, we have to spend our money in order to get that attention. Back in the day, you could maybe rely on viral content, right? Which is not the case anymore. It's maybe on platforms like TikTok, it's been democratized, right? Where even a small account can go viral. And even then, even with TikTok, they're maturing to a point where they're starting to look more like Instagram. So as a mature platform like Instagram and Facebook, you need to put money behind your message. There's no way really to ensure that you'll reach a certain number of people as sure as paid ads. Let's say viral content. Let's say if you have talent, if you have the talent to create content, great. You know, you might have a chance here and there. You might even create something that's really beautiful and still not get any attention. So this is where ads come up, right? So you can either boost that creative that you created that was great, but if you don't have like the skills to create crazy videos or you don't have any skills in Canva or Photoshop, you can still come up with something really quickly and put some money behind it in order to get exposure. So that's really what's important in terms of ads. Now with Facebook, they give a lot of advanced targeting options like demographics, what your interests are, what your behavior is when you're online. Meaning you can literally target people who are actively buying on Instagram, for example. And there are different ad formats as well. So you can have, let's say, the horizontal classic format, 16:9 that we all know as the YouTube format, let's say. You also have the vertical format that's 9:16 that we're all used to now with Instagram stories, TikTok, Snapchat, which is more mobile friendly, for example. So there's ad formats for every type of, let's say, device, right? So you have your computer, you have your phone, you have your TV, all those formats are covered. So in Facebook, there are different objectives, all right? So there's awareness, which is the top of the funnel. I hope everyone has an idea of what a funnel is, but I'll kind of try to paint the picture as I go. So awareness is probably where there's the most vast people that you can catch, right? But again, with the vastness, there's also the people who are not at all really interested or that do not intend to buy, but they might have somewhat of an interest in what you're selling, right? So that's where you catch people with eye-catching ads. Like you have, like in the first 3 to 4 seconds, you have something that's attention-grabbing, right? Like very dynamic, etc. most of the time, or maybe just a beautiful image, right? A portrait of a person or whatever. This is in awareness ads. This is where you put those ads up, like those creatives up. And then on the second level, there's consideration. This is to try to get people, let's say, to leave your platform, Instagram or Facebook, and maybe go on your website by clicking the link, of course, that you attach to your ad. So this is the part where you're kind of fine-tuning and filtering through the people who might like or want what you're selling and those who don't, right? So those are consideration ads. And then you have the conversion ads. So conversion ads can be, yes, purchasing, of course, but it doesn't have to only be that. It could be, let's say, for people who are renovating their apartment or that their house, they want some roofing or whatever. If let's say I'm a plumber, if I want contacts in order to kind of cold call them later on, you can do something that's called lead ads. So lead ads is mostly getting people's information and then trying to convert them in the back end when you call them after. So you don't have to make people buy your product or purchase your service online right away. You can do something as smart as just keeping their contact, taking their email and their phone number, and then contacting them in the back end. And I would say that in most times, this is the smartest thing to do, because if you're, let's say you leave the platform, let's say you're no longer on Instagram, you still have those people's, you still have an email list that you can reuse later, but we'll get into that a little later on. So I'm going to show you guys maybe an example online. Can you guys still see the screen? Just want to have an idea. Hello?
Oui, on voit toujours, yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I couldn't see any writing. All right, so this is the backend platform. Okay, I'm using a page, a Facebook and Instagram page that I created not too long ago because I'm a big cinephile. I love movies, I love TV series and stuff like that. So I decided to create a page instead of like, let's say, bombarding my usual followers with movie clips and series clips. I created a separate page for that. But now let's say that I have around maybe 1,500 followers on that page. Let's say that now I want to start like maybe monetizing or maybe growing more awareness to reach, let's say 5,000 followers. Maybe that's my new goal. So what I could do is create an awareness campaign. I went along and clicked this one, but let me start over. So on the Facebook business page, so you go here, business.facebook.com. This platform allows you to run ads for Facebook and Instagram. So you just get to this page. I mean, you create your account if you don't have one already. It's a pretty straightforward process. If you guys need, we'll send you maybe the link to those pages after this webinar. But once you're here, you go to the green button. That's the only button that's green and on the whole page. You click it, and now they show you all these options. Tell me, guys, if you see if it's big enough for you guys to see or not. Cool. All right. So we have awareness, which I explained already. Traffic, engagement, all those are mostly consideration ads, right? So traffic is mostly to push people into clicking the link or to clicking on a message button, for example, because you don't always have a link. You can maybe get people to write you on Instagram or Facebook. You have engagement. Engagement is more towards anything that's, let's say, video views, for example. Let's say you put out a video on your Instagram, you're a content creator, or you're a business owner, and you really want to gauge how many people have seen this and versus how many people have clicked the link. You can create a campaign that's called like an engagement campaign or based on video views and kind of put your money behind pushing people to view your video in its entirety, not just a part of it in its entirety, or at least 10 to 15 seconds of it. Then you have the leads, which I explained a little earlier. Then you have, for some people who maybe they have they're developers and they wanna come out with an app, for example, and they want people to download it. This is the option that you would go for. Then you have sales, which is the classic conversion ad that you run when you just want to sell your products or your services, or maybe get people to contact you on WhatsApp Business, for example. So I'm gonna choose awareness, as it also has video views here. I don't know if you see it right here. So I'm gonna go for, you know what? I'm gonna go for reach. So we're gonna go on an awareness campaign. So it opens up like this. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just gonna leave this here because it's simpler that way. So on this first, so there's different levels to a campaign ad. So you have the higher level where you choose the name of the campaign, some of the campaign details, which are like pretty much chosen for you. So you don't really have to touch any of this section. You can choose the name, right? And then you come down here, and this is where it's mostly important for you to, input your what you want to do. So depending on the budget you have, let's say you have a monthly budget of, let's say, $100, just to keep things simple. You can either go on a lifetime budget, right, and put up $100, like so, right? Or, which I do suggest most people to do, is go on a daily budget. A daily budget allows you to kind of better manage your budget on the daily. So you can, let's say one day you put in $5 and you see, oh, the campaign's performing well. Well, this would allow you can choose for the next day to add $10 to the budget, to the daily budget, or maybe 15 or even 20, and vice versa. So if it's not going well, let's say you put up $10 and it's not performing too well, you can reduce it to maybe $5. I think what's allowed nowadays is about a minimum of, I would say, $1.50 or $3 on the platform. But obviously, I would suggest to put up at least around $25 even on your first campaign, because you want to give the machine learning some space to actually kind of test things out. And if the budget is too low, well, the testing will stop really quickly. So the real advantage of ads is really to save time, right? Because you could do this all of this organically. You could maybe post some content here and there and kind of test the waters and see what's working and what's not. But ads will kind of accelerate that process, right? Sometimes we don't have the time to really wait it out and see how social media reacts. So you much rather put it in people's faces with a high enough budget, and then see how it comes back. Like which people, what creative are they reacting to? What copy are they reacting to? We'll get into all that, but just wanted to give you an idea of why it's better to choose a daily budget. So let's say I'm going to go for a daily budget of $5. Okay, this is again, this is my cinephile page. So what I want to do is just create awareness towards my page. So now we're going to go on the second layer. The second layer has everything to do with targeting. Okay, this is what we call the ad set layer. So the ad set layer is really where you choose your audience, you choose the time and the schedule of your ads, because you can have ads that may even run only at nighttime, for example. It depends on people. but most people just run them 24/7, 7 days a week. Okay, so this is the asset. So this is where you target your audience. So there's different tiers of audiences, right? You have the audience that you can kind of target through interest. Let's say other cinephiles, for example, right? Or you can choose lookalike audiences, or you can choose custom audiences. I'll explain each and every one. So interest, that's pretty much self-explanatory. It's what you like in general, what you like to do. That's what you put out. Like, for example, on this page, I'll mostly just name maybe some TV shows that I like Stranger Things, for example, Snowfall, for example. And in terms of, let's say, lookalike audience, hold on, let me just, in terms of lookalike audience, that's once you have, let's say, for a person who has Facebook Facebook Pixel installed on their website. Who knows what Facebook Pixel is, for example? All right, I see one person. Are there any others in the chat? Oh, I'm guessing no, since no one. So Facebook Pixel is a tool that we use in order to kind of get the feedback from your website. So while you're installing Facebook Pixel, they'll give you like a line of code that you can install in your website, but they also have some plugin integrations that you can have in order to, let's say, if you have a Shopify website or Squarespace, or again, what was the other one that's pretty popular? But I'll just stick with Shopify. If you have a Shopify website, for example, Facebook has a pretty easy integration process where you just click a few buttons. You say, I have a Shopify account. You give them the link to your account, and then they create a code for you. And even that code, you can sometimes click and they'll integrate it in the platform for you. But once your pixel is installed, there are some cool things that you can do. So you can, in terms of audience, like I said, you have the interest, but you also have something that we call a lookalike audience. A lookalike audience is something that it's kind of in the name. They take, let's say, if you have 1,000 people that visited your website in the last month, you can take those 1,000 people and have Facebook create a sort of persona for that audience. Let's say out of those 1,000 people, it's going to say, okay, these people are the type of people who visited Etha's website. So now I'm going to create a basin, like a big basin of audiences, maybe 100,000 people this time, that might be similar to those 1,000 people that visited his website. So then you can target those people specifically. You also have something that's called custom audiences. This is probably the most specific audience that you could use in Facebook ads or in Instagram ads. But again, you would need to have maybe some history in terms of an audience that visited your website, or a large email list that you've always had, maybe through the years of your business, because there's a lot of people that obviously had their business going and now are trying to integrate internet and social media into it. So maybe you have like a custom audience of, I don't know, 400 emails or 100 emails that you can integrate and maybe target people in that specific email, or create a lookalike audience of that specific audience. So this is where it's at. So you have, like I said, you can target people by interest. You can target people by location, Canada, Quebec. It can be as precise as Quebec, or even a neighborhood, to be honest. The age demographic. So, if, depending on what type of, for example, in my example, I think I would target more people, let's say, up until the age of 45, I would say, and in terms of gender, I have nothing precise. I think men and women watch TV shows and movies, so this is fine. If my budget is reduced, let's say, like I said, I'm going to start with a budget of, let's say, $25. Maybe Canada-wide is too much for me, right? Maybe that's too big of a territory to cover with only $25. So what I would do is just target Montreal. So you type it in, and then you see a few, Montreal, not United States, of course. So Quebec, you choose Quebec. And now you have a 25-mile range around Montreal. But if you don't want that and you want to target the precise city, all you need to do is click the arrow here, and then you click on current city only. So now it's going to target all of the island of Montreal, for example. Okay. Let's go into interest. Location? Oh yeah, so there's some places that you can also exclude as well. So this is, you see this button here, this is for including. But let's say you want to exclude places, right? So you want to exclude, I don't know, a certain neighborhood or whatever. You would just click here, click on exclude, and then exclude that specific territory. All right, so we're in Montreal. Let's go into detailed targeting here. So this is where you would put all the interests and demographics and the behavior. So I want mostly cinephiles. Let's see if that word works. I don't see anything. Let's see, movie lover. Let's type movie, let's say. Action movies or documentaries. These are all interests that you could target. So let me just start clicking with you. And once you've clicked one or two, you start getting suggestions. So you could just click here. If you don't have any inspiration in terms of what you want to do, what you want to target, you can just start with your base niche, which is movies for me, and then click on suggestions and see what else they suggest to you. So let's say fantasy movie, adventure films, superhero films. All these things are pretty cool and they correspond to the people I'm trying to reach. Okay, so that's enough. You can also browse here in terms of demographics. If you don't have any idea, you can, when I say Facebook and Instagram, they have a vast targeting system. This is what I mean by it. So you can target people by their education level. You can target people by their financial level. Well, you used to be able to, but now I think there's some regulations that don't allow everyone to. I think in Canada it's not allowed, but for example, in the United States, in some states you can target people through their financial revenue. Let's say if they make 100K or more per year. So that's maybe interesting for clients or for people that are trying to sell, let's say, high-end products that cost maybe over 10K or $5,000. That's something that I would use. Life events like in me, I recently got engaged, for example. So if you're, let's say, a business that's selling, you're a wedding organizer, right? A wedding event planner, or if you're a videographer or anything to do with like wedding services, you could use this life events in order to target people that are recently engaged. If you're, let's say, if you work in real estate, for example, you can target people that recently got married. Maybe they're looking to get an apartment or a house, for example. Parents, if you're looking to sell maybe baby products, clothing, toddler stuff, relationship, again, like I said, work-wise, maybe a specific industry, you could target them as well. And again, interest. But I'm just going to stay in interest for now. Just going to keep it simple. The language, of course, you can choose either French or English. It really depends on the nature of your creative. Does your creative speak to everyone, or does it just speak to a specific, language or whatnot? So I'm just going to keep all languages. There's something, yes?
We have a question in the chat.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Maximum d'intérêts que l'on peut sélectionner?
Pardon.
Y a-t-il un maximum d'intérêts que l'on peut...
So no, there's no maximum of interest. I would suggest in terms of you don't want to go too broad and not know which interest worked in the first place. So this is something that I wanted to get into a little later, but I can talk about it now. So there's no limit in terms of interest, but it's recommended to not go over, let's say, 5 to 10 interests per ad set. So this is an ad set here, right? Like I said, this layer here. And what's really cool is that we can segment, right? We can separate different audiences. We can separate different keywords that we're testing out and seeing which one works best for your audience. So in this one, I think I put around like 5 or 6 audiences, but I could have separated all of these into one ad set each. That way, when my ad is running, I know which ad set is making me the most money or that's spending the most, meaning that the audience is responding to that ad set in particular. But just for example wise, I'm just going to keep it simple for now and put all the interest in one ad set. So this is it here, language. And then in terms of placement, so I would say Facebook ads and Instagram ads are getting easier and easier and easier because they're taking away a lot of the things that you had to figure out for yourself before, and now they're making with AI and machine learning, they're making recommendations for you. So in this case here, for the placement, you can leave it at advantage plus placement. So that's them. They're going to kind of determine, okay, you gave us a picture. These are the different places where we could put these ads instead of you trying to figure it out. But I like particularly to choose where my ads show up, right? So you can use this advantage placement and let them do it for you, or you can do manual placements. So manual placements, at first, it may seem overwhelming, but in reality, it's pretty simple. You have Facebook, Instagram. So like I was saying, you could target both Instagram and Facebook on this platform alone, from this platform alone. And then you have the audience network. The audience network is something that I don't recommend to everyone unless you want to just broaden your reach and maybe reduce the cost without really knowing specifically from which platform it's coming. Audience network, there's all kinds of other platforms. There's websites that are affiliated with Facebook that run ads, kind of like Google banners that you see on certain blogs and stuff like that. There's also platforms like Tinder, for example. So I would say that some people who have maybe an interest in getting a hold of these different types of audiences that don't really spend that much time on Facebook or Instagram would click audience network. So it's really up to you. So me in general, what I like to do is I click off audience network. I just leave Instagram and Facebook. But even in Instagram and Facebook, there are so many placements, as you can see. Look at all this. What I like to do is, like, in my opinion, video ads work better than, let's say, static images and photos. So that's one thing I would recommend all of you is to really just lean into video ads, but not just any video ad. I would say vertical video ads. So what you want really at all times is for your ad placement to take up as much screen real estate as possible, right? You don't want it to be a little square and have people almost accidentally scroll past your ad. You really want to grab their attention. So you want to most of the time go for a vertical ad. So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to target, let's say, Facebook and Instagram feeds, because obviously you're scrolling. Your profile feed, this is new. So now Instagram, when you're on someone's profile, you can scroll and you might see an ad between some of their posts now. That wasn't available before. You have Facebook Marketplace, which is for most people a good place to get discounted products or services. I would click on it if I was looking to maybe resell something or maybe sell something that's cheap. Because Marketplace is, you're targeting deal finders. Basically, you're targeting people that are looking to buy, yes, but at a discounted price. So there's an advantage and a disadvantage to clicking this place. Facebook video ads. I'm not going to click any of these things. So you got the explore page, which could be good. Instagram explore home, same thing. Business explore, same thing. So this is where I like to concentrate my efforts, right? So let's say Instagram stories, Facebook stories, Messenger stories, if you have something specific there as well. But I would go for mostly Instagram stories, Facebook stories, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, for example. All these other things you can just click out because they're kind of a bit specific in the targeting. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. So again, this here, so stories and Reels, and here I would mostly go for feed and explore page. That's my taste in targeting most of the time. So this is how I'm going to target people. Now we're going to move to the ad level. So the ad level is where you choose your creative, where you choose your creative and you also write your copy. So I'm just going to select first the pages that I want to promote my ad with. So the page is called What's Cinephile. So this is the Facebook page and this is the Instagram page. You scroll down here And now it's time for you to create your ad. Okay. So I selected create ad. There's other things I can also select existing post. If I don't want to spend my time, let's say uploading, I could just like select a post that was already on my platform. For example, here on Instagram, I could choose, let's say, this AI generated image of John Wick, for example. And it's not really corresponding to every, hold on, let me just do this here. It's not showing up here, but as you can see here, it is showing up. Sometimes this does it, but you know, it's okay. Let me see if I can. All right, it's no big deal. So you see here that it does show up, even if it's not showing here. Sometimes it does that. Maybe I have a call to action on the website. Let's say I want to push people to my Instagram. I could literally say Instagram.com/whatcinephile, for example. Have a call to action button. Let's say, I don't know, learn more is a go-to. Book now for maybe for some appointments. And there's also other things like order, shop now, whatnot. But in this case, I'm going to go for learn more because it's an awareness campaign. I'm not trying to make people convert. So now it's showing up, all right? So you have in the story format, this is what it would look like. Let me expand this so you can see kind of what it looks like. So this is what it would look like in the story format. Let me go on the feed, see what this looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like, right? That's how you usually see your ads. Now, I'm not going to do that this time. I just wanted to show you an example of boosting an existing post, but this is, you would select your post, click here, give them a website because there's no copy to put in since the post exists already with a copy, and then you would publish, right? That would be the end of it. But let's go for creating a post from scratch. So single image or video. I'm going to delete this. This is just a logo of my page. I'm going to go for an image, for example. I'm going to choose to upload an image. So let's go here. Click up the upload button right here. It shows up. I'm going to go into AI generated image because I like doing that. Let's say, so this is can you see the image? This one, yes or no?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. So this is an AI generated image that I created of Kanye West as a Jedi Knight. Okay, for anybody who's a fan of Star Wars. So let's say I'll choose maybe this one and just go with maybe this one. Let's say. I'm gonna choose this here. All right, so they're showing me already what it would look like on the feed, right? So it's not a square image per se, so it's a kind of a vertical image. So this, the screen would just, this is what it would look like. It would take more screen real estate, but I recommend it being like this, right? And right now you can see that the image is not too centered. So what you can do is just kind of crop on the side here and have his face. And now it's a bit more centered, right? So sometimes it takes some adjusting, but not much. So let's choose this as an image, right? And here as a copy. So in terms of copy, what you really want people to do, what you want to do to really make your ads effective is kind of make sure that your copy is persuasive, right? And that you have a strong call to action behind that. And for people who don't have inspiration, it's okay. Nowadays, we have AI. I think Steve Daniel, not too long ago, gave some people, some pointers on how to use AI in general. But for those who weren't there, I'm going to go to ChatGPT. It's a pretty simple platform, really. And here, once you sign up, you have this interface here, right? And all you need to do is write, let's say something like this, write a persuasive copy with a strong call to action, and you can precise what you want, maybe to sell t-shirts, for example, or something like that. Or yeah, let's go for to sell t-shirts. I'm just going to press enter here. And it's going to generate an ad copy for me. Okay. Obviously, you don't want to just rely on ChatGPT to do all the work. You want to read back and see if it's really if it's really effective or not. Or you can just take a few parts of it and kind of make it your own. But just example wise, I'm just going to choose one of these and put them as an ad copy. Okay. This is a pretty long copy, by the way. It depends on what type of product you're selling, but I would go for maybe a shorter ad copy. But let's copy all of this. Let's copy it here at least. Now we go back to ad platform and you paste. Okay. Now you have your ad copy that's going to show up under your image, right? Now here, if you want to add more text options, let's say different languages or various ad copies, you can do that as well. Okay, you can test multiple ad copies. It doesn't have to just be one. You don't have to just choose one. And the same thing goes for the images. You can choose multiple images if you want as well. But I'm just going for one just to keep things simple. Okay, add a destination. So if I had to add a destination, okay, but this is not a customizer. So let's say we'll remove the customization just to keep it simple. So now you have to add a destination here and a short headline. This can be buy now or something like that. Not too complicated. Now you have here. So destination, you can choose different things. But for most people, I would recommend just the website URL. Now, again, the website URL doesn't have to be your website. It can be even your Instagram page or the Instagram page for your business. So Instagram.com, right? Slash what's in a file in my case. Okay. For example. And voila, you're done. You've created your ad. This is the most simplest way to create an ad. Now, obviously, there are some intricacies that you can do and have to kind of improve your ads in general. But I just wanted to go on a straightforward process just to show you how you can make your ad. So in this case, you would just press publish. Wish I can do fun. Like I'll just do it just for the sake of the workshop. But this is not an ad that I would run in regular terms. Okay. So that now you have your ad. See, I have these two ads that I've created. This one's in the draft. This is the one that's in the draft. So once you're done creating that ad, you have to go here, review and publish. This is where you kind of make sure that you have the right number of ad sets if you've segmented or whatnot. But for this example, we only have one ad set, one campaign, and one ad. And then you would press publish, just like this. Okay. Now, after you press publish, you have to give Facebook time to kind of decide whether your creatives and your copy is in regulation. If you're not saying any bad words, if you're not trying to sell a product that's a nuisance to maybe some people, if the age range you selected is appropriate or not. In our case, we selected 18 and up. That's for the most part, for most people, that's fine. If you can target under 18, but I would suggest refraining from that unless it's a specific product or service that maybe could speak to children. But most of the time, I would go for 18 and up. And for anybody selling, let's say, alcohol or beverages, anything having to do with products that are not legal to each age, I would go from 21 and up, for example. Okay. yeah, so does anybody have any questions for this part? Or should I move forward? The chat, are you guys following? I'm not seeing any questions, so. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back to now the targeting, right? I'm gonna choose this campaign. It's the same one. It's just that I didn't edit this one. So now I'm gonna go more specific in the terms of targeting, right? So same campaign. Let's call this for number 2, just to separate. I'm gonna still keep let's say a daily budget of 25. Hey, it's fine. $5. Awareness ad set. So on this ad set, let's go for setting a date, let's say an end date, right? Because you want your campaign to run to when. So you can choose, let's say, to the end of the month, for example. Best practices in general, when you put the date, the time that they put is automatically 12 a.m. That means at 12 a.m., like meaning on the 30th at night, as soon as it shifts to May 31st, your ad stops. So what I usually do is I put 11:59 p.m. just so that I can, run the ad to the end of that day, right? So you just want to pay attention to that, because sometimes that can get some people to maybe run their ads and have it stop a day earlier than they expected. Again, so custom audiences, all that you can literally choose. I have some custom audiences that I've created before, but let's go for interest in this one. And then I'm going to choose maybe some other. So you have fantasy, film, comedy, blah, blah, blah. On this one, 18 to 45, Montreal, all that. Okay, this is good. So now you want to create a new ad set. So all you need to do, if you want to keep the same ad for the creative, is go here. So as you can see, it's Control D or Command D for certain people. I just like keep going here. I click the 3 dots here and I click quick duplicate. Okay. So it's going to give me exactly the same targeting that I asked for before in this one, but now in this one is written copy. So you can distinguish them. Maybe you can go up top and change the name of this to whatever audience. This is going to be custom audience. So let's go for custom audience here. And now here, you can maybe choose your custom audience. For me, it's going to be people who've been on my IG, on my Instagram for the past year, 365 days. Well, that's what my custom audience is. I'm not going to make it too precise in terms of what conditions I want them to be in. I just want them to have visited or interacted with any of my posts in the past year. So I'm just going to do that, like that. Now I have a second audience that I'm targeting, right? So the advantage of segmenting audiences in general is to really be able to kind of know where your money is going, but also which ad set is bringing the most return, whether it's reach in this case, or if it's an income, let's say if it's a conversion ad, okay? So this is really how you create a second ad set, and then now you start segmenting, right? And then here, all I need to do is just press publish, and it'll probably publish everything, because on the ad level, I don't need to change anything. I'm keeping the same ad. And there you go. Now we have a campaign with 2 ad sets in it, and it can run, and I'll be able to know which ad set is performing best. And if there's one that's performing better than the other, guess what? I'm going to turn off one of them. I'm going to turn off the one that's not published. I'm going to turn off the one that's not performing well, and just make sure I published here. Never forget to push that button over here. Otherwise, your ad is not really running. Okay, so let me just make this a bit more, and that way you don't. So yeah, so here there's a section here where it'll allow you to kind of search an ad. Let's say you have like hundreds of ads like I do, right? You can search for your ad, the name of your ad or your campaign, just by going on the bar here and searching for it. This is really good for any nomenclature system, right? You might have a campaign that's an awareness ad. You might have a campaign that's more of a purchase ad or whatnot. You want to be able to just type awareness, for example, and find it, right? So this is our case here. Any questions?
Just want to make sure that, I mean, if you have like two ads at the same time, but one is performing less than the other, you can like stop the campaign before the end of the day that you just scheduled?
Of course, of course. So that in itself is, yeah, that's, so you can, the ad can be running, for example, like this one here. And if you see that your ad is like, there's one is performing better than the other, yeah, of course. So you just go, you can maybe press here, right? You go to one ad set, this is one of them, and you can literally just press here, for example. These are the two ad sets. We're in the ad set level here. This is the campaign level. This is the, okay, this is the ad level. This is on and off. Literally just do this.
Okay.
Done.
And how long do you have to wait? Because if it was like a campaign for a week, and is it like after 2 days you see that it's not like performing, or you have to wait maybe like at half the time, or what's the best way to do it?
That's a great question. So in general, I would say to leave it at least for 24 hours. You know, so you want to make sure that you're splitting your budget in a smart way. So let's say on the first day, you're willing to invest $10 in the first 24 hours just to see how things are going. So after 24 hours, for example, I would kind of, you know, weigh the pros and cons. Okay, which one's working best? Okay, let me turn this one off. But in best practices, I would go for at least 2 to 3 days, really, just to, because sometimes it could start slow and then really ramp up like after a couple of days once Instagram and Facebook is like the machine learning has started. So I would usually leave it a couple of days, you know. If you have the budget that can sustain the testing, leave it for a few more days. But depending on the number of ad sets or campaigns you're running, you know. So some people, let's say people who do drop shipping, for example, they're on a fast pace. They're trying to get the best results as fast as possible. So most of the time, after a day, they're already cutting half of their campaigns, you know, half of the ad sets. They're pausing all of them because they're spending so much. They're spending like maybe $3 to $5 per ad set. So it can ramp up pretty quickly, right? It can pile up and maybe be around $50 or $100 a day if they're going for $5 per ad set, and they're doing 10 of these, you know. So that's what I would recommend in general. Leave it for a few days, and then you come back, you check, and you say, okay, this one seems to be performing way better than the other one. But you can also do something as simple as optimizing your ad. So what I call optimizing is just like, okay, I see the difference between these two. There's the custom audience and there's the interest. And I'm seeing that maybe interest is costing me less, right? So I forgot to show you guys this. Hold on. So I'm going to show you guys something here. So these are all the columns that you get. And this is what's really interesting about campaigns. You get this on every level. So you get this on the ad level, ad set level, and the ad level as well, right? So on the campaign level, let's say you want to see how well this thing is performing. You have different, there's some custom ones that I made for TruePlay, so that's video views. But I'm going to go for, let's go for engagement, or let's go for engagement. So I'm going to click on engagement, for example. And this is an ad that there's no results for the moment, but you can see things like post saves, how many people have saved the post, how many people have reacted to the post, how many people engaged in general, meaning they liked or they wrote or they saved, how many people have clicked on the link, how many people have shared. So these are indications to kind of help you determine which one is performing best. It's not only about, oh, this one's spending more money, or this cost per click is. Does anybody know what a cost per click is?
Yeah.
Are you guys more or less aware? I can give a definition. So the cost per click is really how it sounds, is how much it costs per person to click your link, right? Or to click on the ad. So this is what a cost per click is. And this is the main indication that people look at usually to kind of see if their ad is performing well. The cheaper it is, the better the ad is performing. But that's not always the case, right? As for some people who've tested, sometimes it could be something where the cost per click is really high on one ad set more than the other, but there's a lot more saves or comments on the one that's costing more. So I would, and this is a subjective choice, but I would go more for the one that has more engagement in comments and post saves, because I'm like, okay, there's real interaction there. The other thing where it didn't cost me much to click, but there's nothing that follows up, I'm not going to go for that one. I'm going to go for the other one. So that's a quick tip that I can give you guys in terms of looking at certain metrics to kind of make a choice in seeing what you want to pause and what you don't want to pause. Let me show you guys a few of my like custom ones that I created, because these are the things that I go for. So I like obviously looking at the results, the amount spent, the reach, which is the number of accounts, unique accounts that you've touched with your ad, that have seen your ad. Impressions is kind of like reach, but let's say there's 100 people that you reach with your ad. The number of impressions can be higher. Why? Because in those 100 people, maybe one person saw that ad 3 times. So maybe your impressions could be 103. But that only means that out of the 100 people that were reached, somebody has seen it multiple times. So sometimes that's a good indication as well. But I mostly concentrate on reach more than impressions. Let's say cost per result, obviously that's kind of like cost per click, but depending on what kind of result you're looking for. So this, in my case here, I'm looking for more of a reach. So it's going to be a cost per 1,000 people I've reached. And if it's video plays, or if it's a video that I was playing, well, I could see how many people played 3 seconds of that video, how many people have played, let's say 100% of the video, maybe half. What's the average play? Like there's all kinds of metrics that you can really pull and really get to the nitty gritty of what's working, granularly speaking, you know. So yeah, that's about it for the metrics. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Me, I have a question.
Yes.
So thanks again. It's a really good refresher for me. My question is about budget.
Yes.
If your ads run for 1 week and you set up your campaign on daily budget, so it means that approximately you're gonna like the machine going to spend.
By the way, I speak French. Je parle
Oui,
français.
et c'est bien, je vais parler en français.
So
Ok.
if it's easier for you, I can yeah, go ahead.
Fait qu'en gros, ça veut dire que la machine va dépenser approximativement $25 par jour pendant une semaine.
Si c'est ça ton daily budget, si c'est $25 daily budget, oui, ça va dépenser. Ça va essayer de dépenser d'ici minuit, like up until midnight, $25.
Okay.
So that's why you really need to be careful in choosing either a daily budget or a lifetime budget. But again, like I said, right, I like to go by daily budget because I have more control on how much I'm spending per day. So you can choose $5 one day and tomorrow choose $10, $20 if you want. You can change it every day and just publish and mettre à jour la campagne si tu veux.
Et sans turn off la campagne.
Sans turn off la campagne. You can, without turning off the campaign, you can change the daily budget. You just go to campaign here, right? Edit. And your budget is here. It's locked on daily budget. I cannot, once the campaign is running, I cannot switch to lifetime budget, for example. So it's click, this one is locked on daily budget. Donc si je veux le changer, all I need to do really is just go here, let's say $10 now, right? Once I click here, you see, publish, that means ça va le mettre à jour.
Okay.
So it's going to update it. And now the new budget is $10 per day.
Ok, fait qu'en gros, si mon budget total, c'est genre, je sais pas moi, $100 et que je veux un daily budget, fait que je dois splitter pour les différents jours.
Ouais. So, pro rata, tu dis $100, obviously, c'est assez facile, mais on va le faire ensemble. Divisé par 30, $3 à peu près. J'irai pour $4 par exemple. $4 per day. That's
Ok.
going to be your daily budget.
Ok, parfait. Merci.
Great.
Une petite question.
Yes.
I'm going to switch in French. Ça va être un peu plus compliqué, mais
Pas de problème.
super. Mais tu peux me répondre en anglais, hein. Si, admettons que justement, tu as un budget de $100 pour le mois, mais que c'est un pay-per-click, ça veut dire que quand il va avoir atteint le $100, il va arrêter de diffuser ou bien
Oui.
il va dire non, ça fonctionne bien, puis il va continuer, puis là, la facture va venir après.
Donc, la magie, dans ce cas-ci, il va s'arrêter. Parce que
Ok.
tu préfères qu'il dépense exactement ce que tu as demandé
Mhm.
que de dépenser plus que ce que tu as demandé. Because who's going to pay you back after Facebook? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
So, en général, what I would do is, like, je mets le budget que je suis prêt à dépenser et puis, disons $100. Mais si toi, tu vois que ça performe vraiment bien et qu'en vrai, tu as envie d'investir plus, same thing as daily budget, lifetime budget, you can update it.
OK.
Par exemple, si jusqu'à la fin du mois de mai, you put $100, and by the end of May, you can not only update the end date of the campaign, you can push it to end of June,
OK.
and you go back here, you go back to the campaign level, and you update the budget as well. So, c'était $100 que tu as dépensé. Maintenant, si tu veux rajouter 50 ou encore un $100, you put 200. That way, les $100 qui ont déjà été dépensés sont faits, donc il ne reste plus que $100 dans le budget total de la campagne.
OK. À la place qu'il arrête avant la fin du mois de mai parce qu'il a déjà atteint son budget maximum, c'est ça?
Exact. Mais
Puis,
en général, oui.
non, continue.
Non, mais en général, la machine va faire en sorte de dépenser à peu près le même budget par jour, approximativement, pour essayer le calcul qu'on a fait pour Rata, là, pour essayer de voir combien il fallait dépenser par jour. Si tu mets un lifetime budget, il va le faire tout seul.
OK.
OK? Il
Puis,
va le faire tout seul. Mhm.
tiens, mettons, parce que là, tu nous as montré comment faire pour subdiviser la campagne pour savoir quel type d'audience réagit mieux à nos ads. Donc, si, admettons, pour un même sujet, est-ce que tu suggères qu'on ait pas plus que 3 ad sets or maybe more? What would be like more efficient?
Peux-tu répéter la question? J'ai pas bien compris.
Si on subdivise les publics cibles, les ad sets, then
Oui,
you have like one who was like just general, and then we had one who was less custom. But
yes.
combien de ad sets qu'on devrait faire pour pas diminuer nos budgets, parce que là, si tu as 10 ad sets puis que tu as seulement $100, on s'entend que tu ne vas pas vraiment être prolifique. Donc, est-ce que ça serait mieux d'avoir quand même un maximum de 3 ou 5 ad sets si on a un budget plus petit? Qu'est-ce que tu suggères?
En soi, ça dépend vraiment de la complexité et du budget de ta campagne. Il n'y a pas de nombre spécifique, mais ce que moi j'aime faire en général, c'est que depending on what type of campaign, disons que si c'est une campagne awareness, en général, je n'ai pas plus de 3 ou 4 adsets et tous les adsets sont orientés vers des intérêts ou des behaviors. Parce qu'un awareness campaign, c'est la partie la plus vaste. Tu vois? Donc, tu veux pas restreindre en mettant des custom audiences, etc. Donc, moi, je prends, en général, awareness campaign, je vais faire 3-4 adsets max avec des intérêts différents. Par exemple, pour ce créatif-ci, j'aurais pu faire un adset tout à voir avec Yeezy, un adset tout à voir avec Kanye West, un adset tout à voir avec Star Wars et un adset tout à voir avec Disney, par exemple, des mots-clés, tu vois. Et après, j'allais voir au fur et à mesure. Ça, c'est juste avec ce créatif-là, right? Yeah. Mais en termes de, par exemple, d'autres campagnes, disons, considération ou conversion, encore une fois, j'irais pour, 2-3 maximum parce que, at that point, ton audience est déjà beaucoup plus petite, tu vois, l'audience que tu vas cibler. Parce que là, ça va être des personnes qui, par exemple, pour un conversion campaign, moi, je vais recibler les personnes qui ont déjà visité mon site web, right? Des personnes qui ont déjà interagi avec mes réseaux sociaux, right? Past engagers. Et puis, peut-être un troisième, ce serait le email list, par exemple. Et ça serait ça les 3 que je vais targeter, tu vois. Like, kind of keep it limited to 3-4 per campaign pour ne pas trop s'étaler et être overwhelmed par tous les metrics, devoir comparer. 3, encore, là, ça devient un peu overwhelming. Donc, je dirais au début, limitez-vous à 3, mais par la suite, quand vous avez l'habitude, vous pouvez vraiment, sky's the limit, to be honest. So, c'est vraiment ça. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions concernant ça? Of course. Any questions considering targeting your ads and stuff like that? So, okay, so like I was showing different metrics here, right? There's some metrics that allow you to kind of see the income. I'm not sure that I've done anything specific on this ad platform because I'm not allowed to show client pages and client profiles. So I'm going to keep it to what I've done on this platform. Let's go for, let's see if I've done a purchase campaign on this. I haven't done a purchase. So I'm going to choose something where I have a lot of results. Okay, this is IG story, for example. This was a long time ago, but I'm still going to show you guys. So, all right, I'm going to, IG story, I'm going to keep it clean so you guys can follow. This is just my way to kind of clean everything up and make sure I know which campaign I'm looking at, right? So we have this one that's about in the naming of the naming convention that I like to do in general is put the budget and what type of budgeting it is. Is it a monthly budget or is it per day? So here, for example, I put $5 per day, right? Here I put $3.5 per day, for example. I'm gonna go on the one that's not active. Even this one, I think it's done, but let's go here, all right? So let's compare these two. In terms of money spent, for example, I can show you guys that I've spent on this campaign about almost $300, right? In total, $301 for both. But on this campaign, a lot more money was spent because probably it was performing better. So let's go to this one. We click on the campaign, right? And now you see that I turned off one and there are 2 others that were continuing, probably because this one wasn't performing too well. And so I went to the others. As you can see here, there's a bunch of metrics that you can kind of look at. This was a video campaign. Let me show you guys what it probably, even I don't really remember. So these are yes. So these are videos that performed very well on my profile that I decided to boost on Instagram, which I recommend for any content creator or any brand. Is once you see that organically a video or a piece of whatever that you publish is working well, go in the back end and try to push it a little more. It can be right away, or it can be maybe a month after, right? So this is let's say this ad here. I was in Mali, and we were at a wedding, and people really liked this. So I just decided it was a reel. So I just decided to push this one, right? Nothing special, just different outfits, traditional outfits of people wearing and whatnot. But this allowed a lot of people to come to my profile and say, hey, I want to see more of this guy's content. Who is this person? So this is an awareness campaign, right? So this is the creative I chose at the time. I can look at all the creatives that I put in one campaign. Okay, this is one ad set. Okay, I'm coming back to the ad set level. This is one ad set, but on the ads level, these are all the creatives that I put up. So now I can compare all of them. You see, so you can see the cost per result. If I click here, this is the one that cost me the most. So this is probably not the best one to keep. So I would have maybe paused this one. And so if you want to go by the one who cost you less, this is the one that cost me the least. So I'm gonna keep this one on, right? But then again, you go to 3-second video views, for example. So this is I just want to illustrate how you kind of segment per a column and try to select, okay, which are the creatives that are working the best. So on this side, on cost per result, this sunset video was the best. But if I go on the 3-second video and I try to see the ones who got the most views, it's this one. I can show you guys as well, just so you guys get an example of different types of content. So this is just a quote with some video footage in Africa. Anyways, so you really have to go like column by column and kind of see what speaks to you, right? Is it the video views? Is it the cost per result? In a purchase campaign, we have something that's called ROAS. ROAS stands for return on ad spend. En gros, retour sur investissement. For those who speak French, c'est un retour sur investissement. Combien est-ce que tu as dépensé en ads et combien est-ce que tu as en retour? Et en général, on essaye toujours de faire de break even, c'est-à-dire arriver au moins à 1. C'est-à-dire pour chaque dollar rentré, $1 et pour chaque dollar sorti, $1 est rentré, par exemple. That's what we try to do in general. Any questions on that? Well, I'm seeing you, you're good. maybe you had a question, who knows? So where was I in terms of, so I got mixed up a bit in all the presentation because I started like attacking all kinds of parts of the workshop. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'll be glad to like just answer any of them for you. If you have specific case studies, maybe in your situation, don't hesitate. I can help out.
Do you have a quick summary of best practices?
A quick summary of best practices? I do. So here you go. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me just see how I make this pop up. Tell me if you see, is it changing?
We see your screen.
Okay. Yes, I already talked about this. Some of the best practices. So as I was saying a little earlier, so you have everything having to do with defining your audience, right? So this is a good thing to do even on paper. Clearly identifying your ideal customers, right? Is it a middle-aged woman? Est-ce que c'est un jeune étudiant? Est-ce que c'est a working, is it a working class? How old are they? Where do they live? Like the location-wise, depending on whether it's a local business. Let's say if you have a hair salon and you just want to target people within your area. I can show you guys how to do that, by the way. I didn't, because it's not a basic type of way to do ads, but let's try that out, okay? I'm gonna create a new ad set, so I'm gonna duplicate this old one. We go here, quick duplicate, right? Now in terms of where I'm targeting people, right? This is where we are, Montreal area. But the thing about this is you have to understand that if you want to target a specific area, it's gonna cost you a lot more. That's why I usually don't like to target areas like that. But let's say, let me type Côte des Neiges and see. Okay, that's Côte des Neiges. Let me click off this part. So right now I'm clicking, I'm targeting a specific area, Côte des Neiges. You could also do it by dropping a pin, like somewhere towards where you live, if you want to. But again, the tighter the targeting area, the more expensive your ads will be. That's why I like to keep it kind of like within the city or at least the neighborhood, and not target too precisely, depending on what kind of business you have, right? So let me just go back to the best practices. So as I was saying, so you know the psychology as well behind what kind of audience you have. Is it recently divorced, recently married, married with children, no children? Maybe like if let's say if you're an adoption agency, you want people who have no children. So you have defining your target audience, but you also have utilizing your audience segmentation. So this is something we already spoke about. It's really just going for trying to make it as granular as possible. So always make the segmentations, meaning the ad sets, as precise as possible, so you know precisely where it's coming from, right? And again, keep it around 3 to 4. It could be more. there's no best practice in terms of how many ad sets you make. But if your budget is limited, you want to be able to, let's say, if you have $100, say that, okay, you've allocated about $25 per se to each ad set. So yeah, utilizing the custom audiences, that's really clutch. C'est très, très important de pouvoir faire ça, mais c'est pas tout le monde qui a cette possibilité-là dès le début. Mais si vous avez une audience que vous avez un email list ou quoi, ça, c'est peut-être la meilleure audience à cibler. De lookalike audience, ça, on en a parlé aussi. Donc, lookalike, ça peut être comme une espèce de... Comment je dirais ça en français? Une audience similaire. Une audience similaire à soit les visiteurs du site web, soit les personnes qui ont déjà engagé sur vos pages ou réseaux sociaux, ou soit une audience similaire à votre email list. Ça, c'est un peu plus risqué de faire ça, mais bon, disons que c'est des choses que les gens font. Et après, tout le reste, il s'agit vraiment de juste tester, raffiner, un peu comme ce que je vous ai écrit tout à l'heure. C'est vraiment voir, OK, cette ad set-là, ça marche. This one is not working. Let me turn this one off. Let me put more budget on these two that are left, etc., etc. And then the retargeting. So the retargeting, ça, c'est vraiment pour la prochaine étape après le awareness ad et tout ce qui est conversion, c'est une question de continuer de cibler les mêmes personnes parce que parfois il y a besoin de répétition. Et ça, c'est très important à comprendre. Ne dites pas que je suis en train d'harceler ces personnes-là ou quoi que ce soit. Non, parfois il y a besoin que je vois la pub 3, 4, même peut-être même 10 fois avant de considérer d'acheter le produit. Dépendant du prix du produit, par exemple, j'ai travaillé pour une compagnie qui s'appelle Burks. Je ne sais pas si vous connaissez, mais Burks, ils sont spécialisés en tout ce qui est alliance, diamant, mais vraiment, genre, eux, ils sont spécialisés en tout ce qui est mariage, anniversary, etc. Eux, ils vendent des produits de 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 000, 50 000 dollars. Et c'est pas des produits qu'on vend per se en ligne. C'est pas des achats que les gens vont prendre en général avec une carte de crédit one shot comme ça, comme si c'était un t-shirt que tu achetais en ligne. Donc peut-être qu'il y a besoin de cibler les mêmes personnes 10 fois, 15 fois pour les convaincre d'aller vers Burks qu'un autre. So it really depends on what type of product you have, the price point of that product, and what you find appropriate or not. But don't hesitate. You know, in general, tu vas recibler les personnes. Ça te coûte moins cher de recibler les mêmes personnes. Non, disons que c'est un meilleur investissement de recibler les mêmes personnes que d'aller chercher du nouveau. Aller chercher du nouveau, ça va te coûter moins cher, certes, mais tu es moins sûr de la qualité de cette audience-là. Alors que ceux que tu retarget, c'est probablement parce qu'ils ont engagé avec ton site web, ils ont été sur ton site web, ils ont engagé avec ta page, ou ils sont semblables à ton audience qui est customisée. Donc, tu as intérêt à mieux recibler ces personnes-là que d'aller chercher du nouveau, disons. I hope that helps a little.
Yeah, very. Thank you.
Are there any more kind of these questions? I love answering these questions, so don't hesitate, don't be shy.
We have a few minutes left. Il nous reste quelques minutes. Donc, if you have any questions, please use your mic or even the chat, and we'll be sure to answer them.
How about you guys? Will, Joanne, any questions? Will's like, oh.
I'll be using your service very soon.
To say the same thing.
Glad to hear that. So yeah, so if again, that's a very good point. If any of you want to again use any of my services, let's say call on me to maybe run the ads for you or consult, you can always contact me through this QR code. And I'll be glad to really, walk you through, at a more personal level, maybe on one-on-one on Zoom, or if you want to mandate me, even I do it myself, or sometimes I have other digital marketing specialists that can take care of your campaign. So don't hesitate on that end either. That's it for me. I don't have any more slides to show. I was really open to questions. I wanted to be a more of an interactive type of workshop.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Your workshop was very informative. A lot of
Information.
I really hope that people were taking notes. If not, no worries. We are recording everything, and the link to the recording will be available a little bit later today. Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of our third learn-up of the semester, the spring semester. Thanks for participating and asking your question. We have one more learn-up left to the semester. Next week, we will be talking UX and UI to maximize your e-commerce website. So if you have an e-commerce, if you have a friend that owns an e-commerce website, please tell them to register to our last webinar of the semester. It will also be in English, but we speak franglais, donc si vous avez si vous êtes plus francophone et que vous avez des questions, don't hesitate to register to that one too. We will be having the workshop in English, but the question period will be in both English and French. In terms of us, we have an ongoing initiative. I don't know if you follow us. We've shared the news that we are the official partner of Montreal Alliance, Alliance de Montréal, the professional basketball team of the city. Please follow us on all our social media platforms. We're going to have an interesting summer. A few things we're cooking up a few things with them. So please follow us at Origine Village, and also follow the social media platforms for our app, Unite and Prosper. We have a few things we're working on, and hopefully we all going to have a lot of fun seeing our local team play in Verdun during the summer. If not, I think that's it for us. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Thank you, Isa, for this incredible workshop. And
my pleasure.
See you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.